And what a joy it is to be back at Vijay Chowk. This is, ladies and gentlemen, is where I began my reporting career. I gave my first television live right from this spot. I remember I used to cover the Ministry of External Affairs. We used to come here after the press conferences. Shastri Bhavan is right behind where the camera is, right behind where the new parliament is actually. And we used to come out after the press conferences and give our live from here, uplink the feeds and the sound bites from here. And in between our lives, some football used to happen over here. People used to sit down, drink some water, have a samosa. And 15 years later, what a joy it is. Let me just show you around. And we are here to have a telecast. I have Amit Rai Jain with us. Major Mohammad Ali Shah is with us. Ravinder Raina is with us. And Acharya Punsuk is also with us. Let me just first show you around so you get a context of where we are standing. It's a bit chaotic right now because the ceremony, of course, is just concluded. So here is what's happening on my right side. I'm going to get Setu to pan across. This, ladies and gentlemen, of course, are the fountains and the ponds. Okay, as you look, that's the fountain here. So what you're seeing in front of you is the new Kartavya Path. This is the light show which has been set up. This is Vijay Chowk behind us. Next to Vijay Chowk, of course, is Raisina Hill. So the road that goes up Raisina Hill. On the left side, South Block. On the right side, North Block. Right behind South Block towards the end, of course, is the Prime Minister's office. And of course, going up Raisina Hill is the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Now, what you can see, of course, on this side, behind where my guests are standing, that's the old Parliament building, which is still very much in functional use. And if you can just spot between the tree and this tented canopy, which was being used as a waiting area earlier, that's the spot there where the massive statue of the 4 lions of Sarnath has been put up. And that's the new Parliament building. It's still hidden behind scaffolding. It's still hidden behind the trees, but you can now catch a glimpse of it, of the inaugural, which has just happened. Now, as part of the inaugural, ladies and gentlemen, of course, was something historic. And of course, the starting of the parliament is pretty historic as well. But what was historic was that when the prayers took place, first half, they were all in Tamil. This morning, we got to listen to chants and hymns in Tamil. And during the second half, there was, for the first time that I have seen in India's parliament, prayers that took a multi-faith dimension. No less than 12 denominations were represented. Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, we had the Baha'i faith, we also had the Jews, Christians, all across the board, prayers were said, giving blessings to this parliament. So let me have this conversation, which is what we are here to have, this perspective conversation on what this is in a representation of a syncretic sense. Major Mohammad Ali Shah, what did you make? I've never seen something like this before, where the Prime Minister is sitting, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha is sitting, and one by one, short prayers are being recited from 12 different religions. What does that say about the syncretic nature of what we are?
No, most certainly, and we are very, very secular. The spirit of democracy is very much alive. Irrespective of whatever people say, the very fact is, yes, we feel very, very proud to be an Indian. We have somebody from different faiths over here. We have somebody from Buddhism over here. We have... so it is something very, very sacred, Rishabh. And the very fact that, today I understand the fact that it's a very, very sacred day for our parliament. We are stepping forward. It is something futuristic because we had planned to accommodate more parliamentarians in the future. There are some people...
Yeah, I'm going to come to the expansion of the parliament, etc. But, we'll try to stay focused here because this was not expected. We got the schedule just a few hours literally before this thing started. So multi-religion ceremony, didn't really know what was going on. But Ramesh Raina, in the end, we got an understanding of what exactly was going on, right? Oftentimes we are told that we are not a religious freedom country. We are behind Afghanistan, Pakistan, 170th, 150th on religious freedom index. What did you see today? Was it different?
See, it was a big snub to India baiters. It was a big snub to all those people who treat the present government differently. See, India is not a secular country by virtue of its constitution alone, because it is written in the constitution, and that's why we are secular. We are a practicing secular democracy where doctrine of equality rules the roost. And today, when the new parliament was being inaugurated, in presence of Honorable Prime Minister, in presence of Honorable Speaker, in presence of distinguished guests, the syncretic religion was at display. It is not Indians alone who were watching this ceremony. The whole world was glued
Yes,
to
because
the TV.
Ramesh Raina, the last time around a ceremony happened. So if you can see right behind me, okay, you see the cupolas, okay. This was all packed to the sea of humanity right behind me, okay. And just imagine this entire square. You know, this is the square where the beating of the retreat ceremony happens. So just imagine, this is the eve of the intervening night of the 14th August and 15th August 1947. This place is entirely packed. Right behind where the cupolas here are where Nehru comes on board his carriage, and the Indian flag tricolor is hoisted right here. Okay, but this was a completely different environment. This was an environment of a country that was still undergoing partition on the basis of religion, because we had been told by the British that you are not only divided between Hindu and Muslim, you're also divided between North and South. There's some Aryan and there's some Dravidian. Today you saw the breaking of those two myths simultaneously within the span of 1
That's exactly
hour.
what I'm telling you. See, my point is the relevance of today's program is second only to the independence of India. Because as I was watching the TV, as I was watching the whole proceedings, I saw sea of people watching this thing. So the curiosity factor that was with us, the thing that we wanted to see, and frankly speaking, this we never had imagined that this could happen in our lifetime.
Okay.
But this has happened
Okay,
in our
but the
lifetime.
ironies exist. Acharya Punsuk, all of us know in our history books that Buddhism, enlightenment of Siddhartha Gautama happened in Bihar, right here in this country. And then it spread all over the world. But today Buddhism is celebrated in Thailand, is celebrated in Sri Lanka, it is celebrated in Southeast Asia. Only now are we beginning to think that we need to have a Buddh circuit. Today when you saw the parliament ceremony, were you surprised actually that this multi-faith prayer happened? Did it catch you by surprise?
It is not surprise because this is some sort of the nations which have a rich cultural, and India is the richest cultural and based on the religion. So therefore, entire the religious, the representatives were invited, and this is the historic for the India's nation itself. And of course, even the individuals, one who opened up their constructions or to renovation, whatever, individuals can also do some prayer.
Yes,
it is
yes.
not. But of course, this is the one historic building which is built.
Did you happen
the
to see the
parliament.
ceremony in the morning, sir? Did you
Yes,
see it?
I have seen.
So what was?
entire-
Can you explain to us the chanting and the prayers that happened? Can you explain to them what they were signifying?
This is the blessing for the sake of the survival of the and peace, universal, and then of course, once the parliament itself is we call it's a temple of the representatives of the citizens. So there the discussions, whatever the for and against, but it should be go smoothly. Therefore, the blessing of the entire
So a
religion
blessing
is
was
very
sought.
important.
What do you think when you are told that India is behind Afghanistan in religious freedom, that we qualify 158 in the world? What does that make you think like?
Actually, I'm not only the religious practitioner. I have done 250 countries' constitution, and I've written in my language 250 countries' constitution. I've seen more or less very rare countries have mentioned there's a particular we faith particular this religion on the basis of this and that religion, then our democracy will be follow. But in India and the many of democratic countries has a secular nation. So therefore, once you are opening such a historic building, without the blessing of the religion, and it will not give us some historic significance.
Okay.
So this is the way
it is giving a significance of all religions, and all religions of which, of course, Hinduism is beyond living memory. We can't pick a founding date. Buddhism very much founded in India. Jainism very much founded in India. Islam came to India within the first century, so it's about 1400 years old. In India, Sikhism very much founded in India. Christianity also dates back to almost 1500 years in India. Judaism. India is the only country in the world which has no history of anti-Semitism. No history. The only part of the planet. Don't ask the Europeans of what they did and what their historical record is. So let me get Mr. Rai into this, Mr. Jain into this conversation. Mr. Jain, ये आखिर में ही खबर आई थी कि मल्टी रिलीजन सेरेमनी, हमें पता नहीं था एग्जैक्टली क्या होने वाला है, बट जब हमने देखा खटाखट एक बाय उस माहौल क्या लग रहा था आपको उस टाइम?
देखिए, मुझे तो लगता है कि जो आज भारत की नवनिर्मित संसद के अंदर जो हुआ है वो अपने आप में बहुत बेहतर को बेहतरीन करने का काम है। और देश की जो प्राचीन सभ्यता है, भारत की जो प्राचीन प्रणाली है, उसको देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी ने पूरे विश्व के सामने रखा। और भारत के जितने रिलीजियस स्टडीज़ हैं, चाहे वो बुद्धिज़्म हो, चाहे जैनिज़्म हो, चाहे इस्लाम, या जितने भी और अदर जो भी भारत की प्राचीन एकता सभ्यता के अंदर कहीं ना कहीं रुचि रखते हैं, श्रद्धा रखते हैं, तो अनेकता में एकता का उदाहरण प्रस्तुत किया है। दूसरा सहअस्तित्व का और समता मूलक समाज का एक जो उदाहरण है आज देश की संसद में वो प्रकट हुआ।
लेकिन ये उदाहरण महत्व क्यों रखता था?
महत्व इसलिए रखता
कोई
था
कोई करते थे, करने की जरूरत नहीं होती, कुछ कहते हैं कि नहीं भाई हमारा तो ये राम राज्य कल्चर है और सब उसको अपना मानते हैं, उतना ही कर लो काफ़ी है। ये सिंबलिज्म, ये सिंक्रेटिसिटी का क्यों देना था? ये हमारे लोगों के लिए, बाहर वाले लोगों के आपको क्या लगा?
मुझे लगता है कि भारत की जो प्राचीन प्रणाली है और जो भारत की समाज का जो निर्धारण है वो कहीं ना कहीं धर्मों पे आधारित है। और मैं मानता हूं कि भारत के प्राचीन जितने भी राजवंश हैं, जितने भी प्राचीन सभ्यताएं हैं, वो कहीं ना कहीं किसी रिलीजियस कॉन्सेप्ट के ऊपर आधारित रही हैं। और आज जो संगोल यहाँ स्थापित हुआ उसको भी देख सकते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं धार्मिक एक अंकुश सत्ता पे दिखाने का प्रयास है।
Okay, but
अगर रिलीजियसली
an effort has been made. You can argue, did it have to be made or not have to be made, but we are glad it was made.
Yeah.
Major Shah, you know, I don't know how many hundreds of hours of conversation you and I have had, right? And we keep talking about India has 200 million plus Muslims in this country. It's we have more Muslims now than Pakistan. And we don't have problems. People try to tell us we have problems, but we don't have actually problems. You know, where I live, I listen to Azan every morning. There's no rioting happening around us, and I'm very near where Jamia is. Every day, no rioting is going on. So, are we now mentally breaking the balance of us being told that a Muslim genocide is about to happen? All the Muslims in India are about to be killed. They're not welcome in India. Modi is the worst of all. He's the one who's going to start the genocide. Are we now breaking this? It's been 9-10 years.
I hope we are breaking that, Rishabh, because I certainly don't believe that's true at all. I mean, I don't think this narrative that, you know, this genocide is going to happen, we're just waiting for genocide to happen and anything can happen. It's human psychology. When you spread fear, the only virus that spreads rapidly is not coronavirus or plague, it is fear and panic. And the moment a narrative is like that is built up, let me tell you, the most educated, most gullible people, everyone's gullible at the end of the day. The most educated people they are at risk of falling for this narrative. So I would urge people not to fall for this kind of narrative. Muslims, the best country for minorities, not just Muslims, for minorities in the world is India. You see what's happening in minorities in China, in Pakistan, in Iran, in Afghanistan, so many other countries.
No, you see what's happening to Muslims. I mean, if you look to India's best, even as a Muslim, where do you want to live? Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon. Where do you want to live even as a Muslim? So this reality check, which is very difficult. For some people will think today, Major Shah, that an monumental tokenism has happened. That this was meaningless. This was just the government going through the motions. What would you say to them?
Well, not really, Rishabh. You know, okay, firstly, it wasn't tokenism. Even if it was, I'll give them the due to believe that and the right to think that. So where's the harm? As long as it respects all the communities, what's the problem?
Okay, so a technicality was found, Ramesh Raina, that the transfer of power will be symbolized as Rajaji had decided and suggested, which we had forgotten about. None of us had remembered this 1 week ago. We are all been reminded about this Sengol, which now every time we cut live to Parliament, it will be right next to the Speaker's chair, so it will be permanently on display. But the transfer of power will be referenced by this. It will be done by the priests from Tamil Nadu, and they will do the chanting in Tamil, which is, as we know, one of the most ancient languages on the face of the planet. Tamil and Sanskrit are. So within that first 30 minutes, after so many years of being told that this is North India, this is Hindi belt, respect to the South is not given. Forget respect. These are different people. We are not even the same people. What symbolism change have you seen today?
I think we need to go a few notches higher up. Let's put it this way, that it is today, 28th May 2023, marks the day when we have left and when we have shunned the colonial legacy. That is number one. And number two, the Tamilians which were chanting here, the mace which was given and presented to the Honorable Prime Minister, the most unfortunate part of the story is that this part of the history was kept away from the public glare. This part of the history was never made known to us until the present government of the day came out with the facts.
No, but
and
why
figures.
did we forget? Was it incidental? Because there were other lot of tensions during the time of the forming of
I personally
the country.
I personally believe that the definition of secularism in the previous governments was different. It was, let me be a little candid in saying that it was Muslim appeasement by no means, and probably thinking
So
that
what's that got to do with Sengol? So you are saying that because the Sengol has the Nandi bull, which is a reflection of a Shaivite tradition, therefore it is not something that would have been welcome. That's the reason?
that is exactly because they thought.
But why accept
probably-
it in the first place then?
So see, that time I don't know what must have been the reasons, what was the politics behind that, because we were not born that. But what we have heard from our parents, but what we have heard, what we have looked from the history, this was seen as anti-secularism.
No, but
So
when
that
you
is-
when do you want to find problems, Major Shah, as we well know, there are people who find problems with Vande Mataram. They say it is anti-Muslim. There are people who find problems with Rabindranath Tagore's writing of what is the Indian national anthem. They say hail to thee is a hail to the queen. So people who want to find problems find problems. There are people who find problems saying that oh Rajya Sabha mein to lotus bana diya ji aapne. ठीक है? Then there are people who say that Nandi bull represents Shiva and therefore is anti-secular. Is that a problem?
Well, Rishabh, there will be some people, irrespective of what you do a good job, you do a brilliant job, there will be people who would be there to pull you down and to criticize you. The best way is ignore them, continue working hard, continue going forward, and you'll find when you move ahead in life, you'll find those people who are trying to pull you down.
Major Shah, is this all Indian symbolism? Because the Mughals are called the emperors of the peacock throne. You have now Lok Sabha, which is emblazoned everything from the carpet to the ceiling in peacock. In fact, if you look down the road, is India Gate, and India Gate has the lotus symbols. Okay, the lotus of course predates the Bharatiya Janata Party using it as symbol, but people will say, look, apna party logo has become Rajya Sabha. So are we then saying that there is a Muslim nod in the Lok Sabha, Hindu nod in the Rajya Sabha? Are we being pretty petulant, or do we say all of this belongs to India?
Well, I would say, jo hai wo hai, yaar. One has to just accept
So national
things.
bird, national flower, perfectly legitimate.
Yeah,
not
why
Hindu
not?
Muslim.
Nothing to do with Hindu Muslim. Why should we divide each other? You know, फल फूल आजकल कौन कहता है गेंदे का फूल मदार में जाएगा या गेंदे का फूल मंदिर में जाएगा और समथिंग व्हाट चमेली का फूल यहाँ पे जाएगा. You know, बकरा मुसलमान है और गाय हिंदू है. So it is like people have got so divided in their minds.
No, but Mr. Jain, ये प्रॉब्लम तो है. The problem exists. ठीक है, अब आप दोनों तरफ काट सकते हैं. ठीक है कि अभी आपका एक पार्लियामेंट तो जी ग्रीन कलर का है, पीकॉक पे है. आपने दूसरा राज्यसभा सैफरन कलर का बना दिया है, लोटस का. अगर आपने पकड़ना है तो आप हर चीज़ की कंट्रोवर्सी बना सकते हैं कि आप बड़ा माने कि इस बारी कंट्रोवर्सी आई नहीं है क्योंकि कंट्रोवर्सी आनी ही नहीं चाहिए.
देखिए, छोटी चीज़ों को तो भूल के रखना चाहिए. मुझे लगता है कि ब्रॉड माइंडेड होकर बात करनी चाहिए. और देश के जो निर्धारक हैं, नीति बनाने वाले लोग हैं, जिसके अंदर सभी पार्टियां हैं और एक सांसद लाखों लोगों का प्रतिनिधित्व करता है, तो मुझे लगता है कि विपक्षी पार्टियों का या दूसरे रिलीजियस सेक्ट के ऐसे लोगों का इस तरह की बातों को करना देश की संसद की, लोकतंत्र की एक मजाक उड़ाने जैसा है. क्योंकि अगर आपने बुल की बात करी है कि थ्रोन के ऊपर यानी कि संघोल के ऊपर बुल बना है, तो अलग अलग अगर स्टडी करें, क्योंकि स्टडी लोग पूरी नहीं करते. अगर किसी ने मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी के सेक्ट को पढ़ा है, लिटरेचर पढ़ा है, तो वो अपने को बड़ा विद्वान मानता है. मैं जैन हूँ, मैंने जैन पढ़ा है, तो मुझे लगता है कि मेरे से बड़ा विद्वान नहीं है. लेकिन अगर सबको पढ़ेंगे तो पता चलेगा. जहाँ तक बुल की बात है, बुल का हर धर्म के अंदर अपना अपना उल्लेख है. जैन धर्म में भगवान ऋषभ देव, उनका जो चिन्ह है वो बुल है. तो अगर हम लोग जैन लोग कहें कि भाई ये तो हमारा चिन्ह है, हमें बड़ा अच्छा लग रहा है,
No,
वो मान
of course, the
करके,
bull goes
तो मुझे
back
लगता है कि ये कोई बहुत छोटी-छोटी
Harappa,
चीजें हैं.
Mohenjo-daro. All of us have seen the seals when we were growing up, and the bull was back there.
जी, जी.
Acharya Funsuk, in representing and understanding, we've seen now the Prime Minister go especially to kick off this both circuit in India. To actually go to Bodh Gaya and highlight the importance of Buddhism in India. But at the same time, we are told he's an anti-minority Prime Minister, that he only cares about Hindus. Is that a fair assessment?
Actually, India has, especially the constitution has adopted, and according to the constitutions, there is 6 minorities. which is already exist in the constitution, and the 6 minorities represented is always nomination is constantly it's going on. So I don't think so there is a the ignores of the minority or a majority I've not seen. But as a populations of the Buddhist community in India is only 84 lakh. It is nothing compared to the others, the religious and minorities community. But it is up to the community itself how much you are going to protect, preserve your religion. अब अपने सभ्यता को आप कैसे संरक्षण कर पाएंगे?
Okay, but what do you
can get the government's
up until now, you know what the issue is. We are okay with the Dalai Lama, but we don't want him to take any political stands within India. We haven't really spoken out about on Tibet for a long period of time officially. But when this time around, in the past year or two, when somebody's actually gone to Bodh Gaya, said we're going to launch a Bodh circuit, just like we're going to have the Ramayan circuit, it's going to be at the same level. When we are saying the respect and promotion of a cultural heritage, which is what Buddhism also represents in India, that we are heading in the right direction.
This is, I think, responsibilities of the government of India, because Buddhism has completely depend with India itself. From the Tathagat Buddhas, from the BC 563 to till the BC 482, at the age of the 81, Tathagat Buddha has Mahaparinirvana. So all the histories, the Buddhist circuits are in India except the Lumbini. So therefore, this is the responsibility of the government of India, whosoever will come in the government for the last many decades, to development of the Buddhist pilgrimage, because now not only the Buddhist practitioners is not only in India, almost 24 nations.
Yes.
But now the the Buddhist nations who more or less become Buddhist practitioners from the Western country and America and Europe and everywhere.
If you have Makkah, Medina, and if we say we have Kashi, Mathura and Ayodhya, then Bodh Gaya definitely should be on the Buddhist calendar. And happy to say for people from Sri Lanka, people from Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, you can carry on, and of course Tibetans from all across
Mongol,
all across the world. So let's take a different
Bhutan,
perspective.
yes.
From a Hindu perspective, Ramesh ji, have we understood who we are now? Because we are being told that initially your own origin is confused, because whether we mostly think that you are foreign invaders, that the Indo-Aryan culture is something completely different, that the Dravidians are completely different. That's what we were told. We can't find a date when Hinduism starts. We can't define it because Hindu people are simply those people living in Hindustan. Who have we? Have we discovered ourselves in the course of the past few years?
See, it's very simple. We are first Indians, and then we are anything else. Let me begin from my place. I belong to Kashmir, and we are aborigines of Kashmir. We have a 5,000-year-old both written and spoken history, and our history starts from Naga. Our history starts from Pishats, because when there was a huge Jalodbao living in Satisar, and he used to kill people, and then people went to Lord Kashyap and told him that please come down to the earth and help us. And he sent his brother Balabhadra. What I am trying to say that that Balabhadra killed that Jalodbao, and that is how the new civilization, that is how the new dawn of civilization started from Kashmir.
Yeah, then there is the Manusmriti also, which is a bit different.
That's exactly what I am saying. And what I am saying is that the new dawn of civilization starts from killing of the post-Jalodbao by Kashyap.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question.
No, let me complete. So it is this civilization, whenever we go and whenever we talk, whenever we study this civilization, we by and large feel that Kashmir is an extension of Indian civilization. But the neo-civilizational thought is that India is an extension of Kashmir civilization.
Can I be a proud Hindu without being a bigot to the Buddhists, Sikhs, Muslims, Christians?
Because when we say, I'm an Indian has a composite identity. India doesn't mean Buddhist. India doesn't mean a Muslim. India doesn't mean a Hindu. India means Indian means Indian.
Okay. So Major Shah, is it because of a reality check that when we talk about actual diversity and syncreticity, look at the Chinese, a large country, similar population to ours, 90% is one ethnicity, forget religion. Religion is not allowed to be practiced in China. So 90% is one ethnicity, the Han. We know what's happening with the Tibetans, the Uyghurs and others who are the minorities. Okay, they are in persecution and genocide is happening there, not here. Even if you look at America, the Muslim population is 4%, Hindu population is about 2%. It's a history, unfortunately, that began by suppressing the Native Americans, the first Americans, the First Nations, then by importing slave labor. George Washington was an owner of slaves. Do these people do not understand diversity? So therefore, they should be learning from India instead of telling India what's wrong with you.
Of course, I mean, see, India is a salad bowl nation. It's not a melting pot, unlike the West. Where in India you find, like for example, for everyone to understand, you'll find in a salad bowl, you find cucumber, carrot, peanut, you'll find tomato, everything together. And if they're coexisting.
Don't say who you're calling cucumber carrot, okay? That will be another controversy on TV. He called us cucumber.
That is just an example I've given.
I get the
know what
point.
you mean.
Yeah.
Lighter side. But at the same time here, unlike in the West, it's a melting pot. People are not united. And based on religion, ethnicity, they're not. Let's accept it. And they evolve.
No, but when we look at answers on how should a syncretic society live, are those answers to be found in Europe? Are they to be found in Africa? Are they to be found in South America, North America, China? I can't see anywhere in the world other than India where if there is an answer, it is here.
Absolutely. If there's an answer, it's in India, 100% on that. And, people who do not go by that, let them go anywhere else.
No,
and see how things are there.
One second, I'm coming to you. So, Jainji, understanding, I mean, it's a difficult understanding. Sikhism, of course, there was a time, I'm a Punjabi Hindu, so the eldest child in the family would follow Nanak and would become a Sikh. So that was a time. Jainism has roots in Hinduism. Siddhartha Gautama, his enlightenment is coming in the environment of a Hindu tradition. So what is Hinduism? Is it a religion? Is it a civilization of the people who happen to live in Hindustan? What is Hinduism?
देखिए, हिंदू शब्द तो बहुत बाद का है, लेकिन अगर हिंदुइज्म की बात, हिंदुत्व की बात आ रही है तो मुझे लगता है एक जीवन शैली है। और भारतीयता अगर सही मायने में देखनी है तो उसके अंदर सदाचार, कहीं ना कहीं देश के प्रति प्यार रखना, प्रेम रखना, और समाज के अंदर अगर हम लोग सौहार्द के साथ रह रहे हैं, और भारत के जितना भी प्राचीन लिटरेचर है उसके अंदर हमेशा से सभी धर्मों का यहाँ पे एक्सेप्टेंस सिखाई गई है। क्योंकि इंडिया में आप लोग अगर हिस्ट्री पढ़ेंगे तो पता चलेगा कि जितने भी, चाहे वो फॉरेन के लोग थे, चाहे चाइना से यूची आए तो कुशान पीरियड के अंदर उन लोगों ने यहाँ पे आके शैविज्म स्वीकार करा, बुद्धिज्म स्वीकार करा। इंडो ग्रीक्स आए तो अपलदत्त नाम अपोलोडोटस का रख दिया गया, मिनेंडर का नाम मिलिंद रख दिया गया। तो भारत ने तो हमेशा सब लोगों को स्वीकार किया है।
But Jainji, if you heard Narendra Modi's speech today as Prime Minister, he is talking a lot about, even the audio visuals, his speech where he went on 35 minutes, he is giving examples, and examples are Sanskritized examples of how to live, how to behave, what to do. The problem is, in our how to live, what to behave, we to think this is useless. We think Plato knows better, Aristotle knows better, the Romans knew better. If not the Romans, modern day Bertrand Russell knows better. और हमारी सबकी बस की नहीं है. So, is it true to think that the world should actually be studying the syncreticity of religion and why it works? I'm not saying we don't have our problems. We have a problem, some are artificially created problems. But यहाँ पर जो चल रहा है, इसकी पढ़ाई करके, इसकी सीख लेके, इसकी सिविलाइजेशनल हिस्ट्री लेके आप लोग सीखें, हमें मत सिखाइए।
देखिए, बात ठीक है, लेकिन जो पिछले आज़ाद होने के बाद हिंदुस्तान में 70-75 सालों में हुआ है, मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं कुछ चीज़ें बायस्ड थी और कहीं ना कहीं कोई पक्ष लिए हुए थी। उसके अंदर वर्गवाद को, अल्पसंख्यकवाद को बढ़ावा दिया गया। मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं अल्पसंख्यक की अवधारणा, इसको रिव्यू भी करना पड़ेगा। संविधान के जो मूल अनुसंधान करने के बाद जो उद्देश्य हैं, उसके अंदर कहीं ना कहीं मुझे लगता है कि रिलीजियस जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं उनको हमें ज़रूर देखना पड़ेगा।
Okay, but let's not kid ourselves. Ramesh Raina, this theory, idea or rediscovery or new India, whatever you want to call it, Amrit Kal, this is something that's under attack, and it's not under attack from the opposition which didn't show up today. It is under attack from people who think that it can still be broken, that it is very easy to cause a riot, to pit a Hindu versus a Muslim. Some are now put Hindu versus Sikhs also. This is all possible. For those people who are convinced, what do we do with them?
See, the thing is that time is a great healer. Let's go back in the history. 1980s was the time when Khalistan movement was at its peak, when Punjab was thought that it would swear its ties with India maybe today, tomorrow, or see what happened in Punjab. Very recently, we heard somebody emerging as Amrit Pal or whatever it is. He was caught within days. And now, very recently, what has been happening to Kashmir? For the past 30 years, we have been seeing Kashmir at war with India. And at one point of time, even me as a Kashmiri who thought probably that when I come next time to Kashmir, I may have to seek visa to visit Kashmir. Now see, there is total U-turn in Kashmir because the statecraft and the policies of the government that have been pursued for the past 70 years
were meant to divide.
Just
Yes.
let me have made it possible to have Devband in India. Devband school of thought, Devband religious school of thought is possible in India, but you can't have a Hindu religious school of thought in Pakistan. You can't have
Yeah,
some
and well, ironically, the Deobandis in Pakistan are the one who are the extremists,
Exactly.
and that's a troubling thing. Okay, so let me ask on a different tack. Acharya Funsuk, why would the Chinese state be so fearful of Buddhism that it either wants to crush it, demographically change it, or control it? Why?
This is unfortunate because the first the Buddhism after the India, China has received Buddhism in 4th century. After that, the Korea, and then on the 7th century, the Buddhism was reached in Tibet. But unfortunately, when the communism was come up, the Maoism, they say the religion is a poison. So that reason, the China, they never believe any religion, and they are completely against to the religion. So therefore, His Holiness, when the last meeting with Mao Zedong, and the last statements of the Mao Zedong said that religion is a poison. So therefore,
Okay,
His Holiness got
so the
surprised.
theory is to crush religion. To crush religion. The same thing is happening in East Turkestan right now. Major Shah, we know that they've gone in, they've even rebuilt the mosques in CCP style. No minarets, no engravings from the Quran can be put there. We know what's happening in the concentration camps or retraining camps, whatever you want to call them. There is a fear of religion. India, however much has been put upon it, does not fear religion. We don't seem to be going after religion anywhere, small or big.
See, Rishabh, Karl Marx had once said that religion is the opium of the masses. So when you want to get a bulk support of the masses, it's very easy for people to fool people. Look what's happening in Pakistan, for example. Imran Khan, repeatedly, if you observe his speeches, he says, "Qom." He repeatedly says "Qom." "Maine Qom ke liye ye kiya?" And he's very popular in Pakistan. For the same very reason, he has hit them, he's got the pulse of the population, and that's why he's got support. Now the military is shutting him up. That's a different thing. So any political party, anywhere in the world, if they want bulk gain, best is to play
but
upon
exactly
religion.
what Ramesh ji was saying, that the assumption was drawn that I have a religious identity first, then comes my national identity. Is it completely different? National identity first, religious identity second, third, whichever you want to call it.
Absolutely. I'm a very proud Indian. And I am extremely proud Indian, and I am a very proud Muslim as well at the same time. But I'm an Indian before I'm a Muslim. There's no question on that. And
Okay.
let not anyone have any doubts on that.
Okay, so Jain Saab, when we try, does it just become a symbolic effort? Or did you see in the multi-religious ceremony today actually a representation of India? अभी ये असली इंडिया है, बाकी जो आप देखते हो जो ये बोलते हैं हैदराबाद से मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट जो यहाँ पर जाके बोलते हैं उल्टा सीधा बोलते हैं वो असली इंडिया नहीं है. दिस इज रियल इंडिया.
देखिए बात यह है कि आज अगर केंद्र सरकार और देश के सर्वोच्च शक्ति संपन्न सरकार अगर इस तरह का मैसेज पूरे विश्व को दे रही है तो इसमें कहीं ना कहीं रिलीजियस उनके जो कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं कहीं ना कहीं धर्म के प्रति आस्था वो प्रकट हो रही है. भगवान महावीर ने एक प्राकृत भाषा में सूक्त कहा. उन्होंने कहा एक गे मनुष्य जाया. उसका अर्थ है कि पूरी मनुष्य जाति एक है. ये बहुत गहरा विचार है. पूरी मनुष्य जाति एक है जिसको आज भी जैन धर्म की अगर आपने अभी बात, क्योंकि मैं रिप्रेजेंटेशन कहीं ना कहीं जैन धर्म का कर रहा हूँ, तो आज भी भगवान महावीर के शासन में हम क्योंकि शासन कहते हैं उनके जितने भी रिलीजियस सेक्ट हैं उसमें जितने साधु हैं 60% जो साधु जैन साधु हैं वो अन्य धर्मों से आते हैं, जिसके अंदर हिंदू सन्यासी भी हैं, जिसके अंदर ब्राह्मण परिवारों के भी हैं, सिख भी हैं. तो दलितों के अंदर से बहुत ज़्यादा जैन मुनि बनते हैं और बहुत बड़ी बड़ी तपस्याएं करते हैं और उनका पूरा मान सम्मान तो समझना है, तो यही हमें धरातल पे समझना होगा चीज़ों
ओके
को।
बट जैन साहब, जब ये स्लोगन्स
पड़ेगी।
होते हैं, ठीक है, पहले था सबका साथ सबका विकास, फिर सबका विश्वास,
जी।
फिर सबका प्रयास है। हमारा भी स्लोगन है न्यूज़ नॉट नॉइज, ठीक है। अब हमारे पीछे लोग खड़े हैं, चिल्ला रहे हैं जोर जोर से, ठीक है। हम
totally agree with this, news not noise. I totally agree with
हम
that.
कोशिश करते हैं कि हम चिल्लाते नहीं हैं, राइट। अब सब शांति से बात कर रहे हैं, वन एट अ टाइम, सब पेशेंटली वेट कर रहे हैं, राइट। सो मेरे लिए इट्स मोर देन अ स्लोगन, इट्स समथिंग आई बिलीव इन। Do you think Narendra Modi and the current government believes in it when they say सबका विश्वास, सबका साथ, or is it just a slogan?
जी, वो कोशिश कर रहे हैं। मुझे लगता है कि उनकी कोशिश एक दिन पूरी होगी और भारत की जनता इस समय बहुत जागरूक है और वैश्विक स्तर पे लोगों को सम्मान दिख रहा है कि भाई भारत का प्रधानमंत्री अपनी कल्चरल ट्रैवलिंग पूरे विश्व के अंदर करके भारत को सम्मान दिला रहा है। तो उसी का परिणाम है कि लगातार
so are the people trying to polarize us now failing? Ramesh Raina, just have a look at we just covered elections in Karnataka where the BJP lost and the Congress won. 6 months ago, out of Karnataka, in Mangaluru, the biggest news story was over the hijab. 6 months ago, during a very hectic, very close-fought election cycle, not one political party raises an issue, which tells me that it was not an issue; it was a created issue. Are the people who are trying to polarize us losing?
Exactly. But before I answer directly your question, I have two things to say. First of all, from your platform, I wish to convey this thing to the Honorable Prime Minister, to the government of the day, that 28th of May should be celebrated as a national celebration day. That's number one. And number two, today is the most auspicious day because Kashmiri Pandits are celebrating Jyesht Ashtami at Kheer Bhavani temple, where thousands of Kashmiri Pandits have gone from different parts of the country to celebrate it. Therefore, as the present government says, a double engine government, so it has a double engine blessings.
Well,
now, coming back to your question, see, hijab was never an issue. Hijab was an issue which started from a school where the principal objected to some little girls wearing a hijab. And the people were waiting and they pounced on the issue and they made it an issue and they made
But why
it
did
to
it
look
disappear?
like-
Why did it disappear? How does an issue completely disappear in a very hectic election campaign in which 250 seats are being fought?
Because even Muslims did not support that
Okay,
issue.
so
Let
I'm
us
going to
make
raise
it
a
very
premise.
clear.
I'm going to raise a premise. Major Shah, we were told that you can't take action on Ayodhya because there will be riots and hell will break loose. We have been told that this is a division between Hindus and Muslims on the issue of hijab. Most of us are not being polarized the same way anymore. You saw this issue whittled away, the Ayodhya issue never happened. Have we gone past these things?
Rishabh, firstly, let me tell you, I served in the army, the most secular organization in the world, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about the MMG the other day.
Yeah, we're talking about the MMG, the Mandir Masjid Gurdwara. In fact, for people who do not know what MMG is, they would think the medium machine gun. You know, I was greeted by my troops by saying, Ram Ram Saab, Eid Mubarak. And a day before Ramzan, my buddy, Gulab Singh, comes to me at night and asks me, Saab, subah ko sehri kitne baje leke aaya hu aapke liye? So, I mean, that is the kind. There is a square in Nasik, in the artillery center, the regiment I come from. There's a mandir, masjid, gurdwara and church, all existing on the same square. They all have the religious chants, all the
No, in fact,
vibrations.
if I'm not mistaken, there was a regiment that served in Kargil whose war chant is Allah Akbar.
Yeah, that's right.
And-
that's right.
and-
that's right. That is Jacklai troops, and that troop, that particular regiment, when it was in Kargil, the Pakistanis thought probably their own chaps were coming in, so they gave a helping hand.
Because
And unko check
that's
diya unhone
that's
wahan
the
pe.
level of confusion that you can't accept. You know, even today I watched, you know, these, my father was watching the Pakistani YouTube channels, and they're still talking the same nonsense, and that's why their country is in a soup hole. And there is a difference in India. Acharya Funsuk, now what is then our hope for India? Do we represent then a beacon of light in the world when it comes to democracy, when it comes to interreligious syncreticity?
Yes, India is one country who can share the universal peace that I have seen, because myself is born in India and studied in India, complete my up to the Acharya. And blessing of His Holiness, I got all the education. But His Holiness always mentioned, India is our guru. Now this day, His Holiness always mentioned India, see, cultural, its humanity, and then the promotions of the inter-religious, and then the fourth, His Holiness always keeps saying that I am going to promote the Indian rich culture. But then His Holiness always mentioned, you respect the other religion, but you can believe in faith your own religion. This is the most important.
Okay, so I want to ask you, how do you then express pride? Okay, because we've often said that the Hindus in this country have been put on the defensive. That if you express pride, if you literally wear it on your chest that I'm a Hindu, you are therefore oppressing the others. So how do you express pride in your religion without being a bigot to others?
It is the individual's thought. Because I'm 63 years old. I have never seen that someone is pressured to you and that. India have a huge, I think, largest democracy and the democratic in the nation. So therefore, each and every individual can show whatever his faith, his willingness, his respect, his confidence. But I think each and everybody should be without any to make itself like some disturbances.
Yes.
Because as a human being, every individual have their own capable, every individual have their own the values. So I have been in many countries.
Yes.
Sometimes you are getting a lots of to create the
exactly, but because there are people out there who
who
still think that they can run, their life. I just want you to think about it. Think about Ayodhya, going on for 200 years, even post-independence. The people who are part of these PILs, both for and against, their entire life story, their livelihood, their dhanda was running on keeping the Ayodhya case alive. Why would they be interested in wrapping it up? But we saw it wrapped up, and well, nothing happened because nothing good happened because there was some logic to what was being said, and there is an equal logic to creating the masjid in Ayodhya, which is also being built in the same grand fashion. Maybe you should go and see what's happening over there. Let me get Ramesh Raina back in. Ramesh Raina, then should we feel comfortable that our democracy is solid, our syncreticity, our religious diversity is very solid. We don't have to fear anyone. Is there something to fear? Are we under attack?
No, not at all. I'll tell you one thing. I'll quote few examples. See, 40 years back in 1983, we hosted Chogam meet here. Thereafter, same March 1983, we held NAM meeting here, which was represented by 140 nations. And that NAM meeting is famous because of the famous hug between Fidel Castro and Madam Indira Gandhi. That is still famous. It became international headlines for many long time. And thereafter, then we have had the presidency of G20. This means the relevance of India. This means the relevance of growing India. And the slogan given by India during this G20 is Vasudevam Kutumbakam.
Yes, but Ramesh Raina, there are going to be people. We know what Erdogan in Turkey is doing. We know what the ISI is doing. They're trying to raise Khalistan if they're facing in Kashmir. So there are people who do it. Now, it's not easy to inflame emotions. It's very easy. I'll give you an example, okay? Australia, group of people go and attack a temple. Hindus in India get upset that Australia is becoming a nasty country to Hindus. That's what the attackers want you to do. They want you to get upset because an otherwise friendly country, you will then snub them. So the threshold of what it takes to create a crisis is far lower than the effort it takes to resolve one. So the people who are troublemaking, do we let our guard down or do we have to now accept that there are always going to be troublemakers?
I think Rishabh, this is a new age India. You see, I will again come to Kashmir. See what Kashmir was 30 years back and what Kashmir is now. Please go through social media. Please go through YouTubes and see the interviews. See how Kashmiris are gaining. The idea before holding G20 tourism meet there in the valley of Kashmir was probably whether Kashmiris would cooperate with the government. But the manner they were enthused, the manner in which they came out, that is...
No, because most people in the world want to do the same thing. I mean, so we did a telecast.
So
I did a telecast on Hear the Kashmiris, okay? So we just 5 ordinary Kashmiris who are showing leadership, okay? And somebody's cleaning the Dal Lake, somebody's running a gymnasium, somebody is running a small beauty salon. People want to live a life. If there's extra tourism, there's better money, and you grow and you aspire, you think of your children, think of a better house, and think of travel. There was a lovely report we were doing of a young Kashmiri boy who had come with his family to Delhi for the first time. Okay, and he's in India, roaming around, and he's feeling very comfortable because he's been told that this is an enemy country. वहाँ जाओगे तो चबा जाएंगे तुम्हें. and he's roaming around freely, and he's saying everybody's roaming around freely. This is pretty relaxed. So it's an eye opener. So the eye openers happen. But Major Shah, I'll just come back.
Just one minute.
Finish your thought.
Just 1 minute. Let me finish. See, taking your argument a little further, a few notches higher up, let me tell you, Mysuma only 20 years back was a liberated zone because Mysuma was home to Yasin Malik, and nobody, not you must have seen that movie Where Eagles Dare. Nobody would dare enter Mysuma because it was presumed to be a liberated zone. Now see Mysuma, when Yasin Malik was arrested, not even a fly moved out of, nothing happened there. Nobody raised a murmur, even not to talk of protest or whatever it is. So my point is that Kashmir has come under a strong grasp of India after 5th August 2019.
But we come back.
Let me complete. And it is this very thing, the success story of India in Kashmir, that is why we are seeing
we get sucked into the Kashmir conversation because we've been told for so many years Kashmir is a Muslim issue. Kashmir is not a Muslim issue. How can it be a Muslim issue? It wasn't a Muslim issue before 1947. Kashmir is not the same as the Dome of the Rock. It's not Makkah, it's not Medina. You can try to make it a Muslim issue, but you'll fail at it because there is no significance in the Holy Quran to Kashmir as being the place where either the Prophet was born or from which he ascended into heaven. But Major Shah, let me come to the last context before we run out of time, and which is the other great divide in this country, the North-South divide. And every opportunity is used to use language, to use ethnicity, cultural diversity, even food, to create a fight. Now, we've seen the Prime Minister, he's gone to Mahabalipuram, he's talked about RRR in Australia, he's taken up the issue of the Tamil cause, of the Tamil language, he's called it the most historic language in the world several times. Has he broken this myth that this is another two Indias?
Well, Rishabh, I grew up in the south in a boarding school in Ooty in Tamil Nadu. And my experience over there was very good. I mean, I didn't really find many people, in fact, I didn't find anyone for that matter who would not identify themselves with us as North Indians. Apart from the fact that we would land up at the Coimbatore airport or at the station, that people would say, Hindi tere yaad hai. Hindi, they don't know how to, they would know Hindi, but phir bhi wo Hindi mein baat nahi karenge. English tere ma, Hindi tere ma, so they would speak in Tamil. Even though they know Hindi, but some of them would not choose to speak in Hindi. But
so where's the line? Where's the line between me being proud of my language versus me being fanned by my politicians to become bigoted over my language?
Yes.
Whether it's Hindi or Tamil or Kannada or anything else.
Yes. So a couple of months back, I went back, I revisited my school. I had gone there to Ooty to give a motivational talk. So there, I found a lot of difference now. The moment I landed over there, the cab driver, though he did not speak in Hindi, he was making an attempt to speak to me in Hindi.
Yeah.
And he was, so I have found that change coming.
No, I can see the palpable change. For example, now, so we are an English channel. Why are we an English channel? We are an English channel because in the northeast and south of India, I had call-in lines open all day today. Chennai, Bengaluru people are calling us. And then I have to take care that the English language is preserved and how much Hindi we are covering. I've seen the threshold change. It used to be a very low threshold point. That if you even lapsed into Hindi, people get very upset very fast. Now this is changing, and it changes, and the reason it changes is, and I'm going to get the answer in Hindi, when you go to Kashi, and then you say, we are going to do a Tamil cultural festival, okay? We are going to celebrate Tamil culture, poetry, writing. Then you say, I'm going to go to Saurashtra, and I'm also going to do another Tamil Sangangam over there. If you are showing respect, people will show respect back. Mr. Jain.
देखिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट सवाल आपने किया. पिछला डिबेट भी आपने इस टॉपिक पे किया था, उसमें मैं था. मैं खुद काशी जाके आया हूँ. वहाँ जो तमिल संगमम काशी के अंदर रखा गया, 1 महीने के करीब का फेस्टिवल रखा गया था. और बड़ी अच्छी बात यह है कि काशी के अंदर पूरे तमिलनाडु के साउथ के इतने विद्वान जो कि भाषाओं के जानकार थे, रिलीजियस स्टडी के जानकार थे, वहाँ बहुत अच्छी चीज़ें उन्होंने वहाँ डेवलप की. वहाँ पेंटिंग्स प्रेजेंट की गई, वहाँ एग्जीबिशंस की गई. अभी भारत के प्रधानमंत्री ने अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया गए थे, तो वहाँ पे एक उन्होंने वहीं की लैंग्वेज में, एक फिजी की लैंग्वेज में तिरुकुरल यानी कि तिरुवल्लुवर जो बहुत प्रसिद्ध संत हुए हैं वहाँ के अपने तमिलनाडु के, वहाँ विदेशी भाषा के अंदर उसका ट्रांसलेशन वाली बुक का विमोचन वहाँ कराया। उससे पहले बहुत सारी क्षेत्रीय भाषाओं में यहाँ उसका हुआ। तो मुझे लगता है कि इस तरह के जो प्रयास हैं वो देश की एकता को बनाने वाले पैदा।
I frankly think was that, listen, you guys take it for granted, okay, that everybody will know Hindi, so you don't want to bother to learn or respect our languages. This was the problem. So now if you show respect, the other person doesn't have a problem showing you, Ramesh Raina, showing you respect back, that okay, people in the north are going to make an effort to understand Tamil, celebrate Tamil as the oldest language. I mean, I have done the first ever TV channel telecast in English language, a national channel in Tamil. I didn't understand what was going on, but that forces me to learn. It is difficult to learn the script at my age and stage, but I can certainly understand the phonetics, so I can pick up some words, I can start from there. I've done I don't know how many countless of telecasts from Kiladi and other places, because there's a purpose to be served, that we are also enthusiastic about this, our history, so then you stop feeling alienated when called.
See, that is the beauty of our language policy. The language policy of the country is such that it doesn't impose Hindi on South or South language on Hindi. What we say, unity in diversity. We have diverse religions, we have diverse cultures, we have diverse language. Go to Rajasthan. Within a span of 10 kilometers, you will find almost 100 dialects, even though they speak Rajasthani, but you will have 100 dialects. But the question is, when we are living in a society, when we are living in an assimilated society, there it doesn't become a casualty.
Okay.
Now it becomes a casualty only for the politicians to exploit a situation.
Exactly. So Ramesh Raina, this time around, 5 years ago in Karnataka, I remember the Kannada flag, the Kannada language, top priority issues. This time around it was 5 promises. So the Congress won, but not on the Kannada flag, not on the Kannada language, but on 5 issues. Now, Narendra Modi and the BJP tomorrow, 1 year from later, might not sweep Tamil Nadu. Okay? But the irony was that today, when for the first time in the parliament we saw Tamil language chanting, the Tamil leaders who belong to the DMK were missing. What do we do with that irony?
See, that is politics. That is sheer politics, because DMK, they have to, control their 40. If they lose their guard, they will understand that the BJP will enter. It's a political question. See, All India Anna DMK in Tamil Nadu is being seen as a B team of BJP. And once DMK lowers its guard, be that in terms of politics, be that in terms of language, be that in terms of culture, they are at the losing end.
Okay.
Therefore, they don't want a party like BJP which represents
but it
Hindu.
might or might not. There is no guarantee that the BJP is going to win Lok Sabha seats. So that's cynical. I'm just coming to you, sir. Major Shah, why could a Jagan Mohan Reddy be there, but an MK Stalin not be there, knowing full well in advance that a Tamil symbol is going to be put up? He could have said, I put aside politics for a day. This is important for the people of Tamil Nadu. They are getting respect, and I'm going to be stand shoulder and shoulder with my Prime Minister, and then we'll fight another day.
So very valid and a very good question, Rishabh. I would like to equate it with an example where, I served in the northeast in Nagaland. There are different tribes. There's Ao, Angami, Chang, Jakisang, Sema, Lotha, Konyak. There are different tribes. Now, for example, they're so different that if I'm an Ao Naga, I can be Chungli or a Chankli. Now, if I'm a Chungli, if I have to say Ni Hao Mar, okay, that's in Chinese, right? Ni Hao Mar, Ni Hao. Now, similarly, if I have to say this in Nagamese, if I have to say something like Apu Logote Lok Paikena Bishi Bishi Kushi Paishe, I mean, it's very nice meeting you in Nagamese. But if I have to say the same thing in our dialect, it would be different. And a Chungli would not be able to understand what Chankli is speaking. So sub tribes, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they all are very, very proud of being Nagas. At the same time, now today, I see they ceasefire in Nagaland for quite some time between NC and IM and NC and K. They're very proud to be Indians as well. So earlier,
but like I said, if you show respect, you can demand respect back. Why should I feel that my culture is everything? Why should I shy away from saying that no? In Tamil Nadu, they have a language which is very ancient. That the Proto-Tamilian languages are at least as old as Sanskrit, worth celebrating, and they spread all over the world. So you wanted to make a point, Acharya Fatsa.
Yeah, actually, the identity of the each and every nation or the citizens of the any country, it's a language and religion. Without the language and religion, I think recognitions of the individual and recognitions of the nation is nothing. So therefore, we are fighting for the survival of the Tibetan language. And Tibetan language comes from the Sanskrit, Devanagari. Its origin is a Devanagari, Sanskrit. So today, if you wanted to know about the background of the history, background of your culture, background of your religion, whatever,
Okay.
without knowing the regional language, you will not able to get.
Okay.
English is unfortunately imposed us.
Yes,
अंग्रेजी तो हमें
well it
थोप
is, and
दिया।
that we find most acceptable. But there are practical advantages to English in a global order these days. So I'm not going to get into that argument. I have a minute left. Okay, so I'm just going to go across the table. Jain Saab, this multi-faith religious ceremony in Parliament, has it set the precedent for the future? जब कोई पब्लिक इनॉग्रेशन हो, ऐसे ही सुंदर सरल सबको मिला के होना चाहिए।
बिल्कुल मैं इस बात की तायद करता हूँ। मुझे लगता है कि इस तरह का सेलिब्रेशन रखना देश को और पूरे विश्व को एक संदेश देने जैसा है, और अपने देश की रिलीजियस जो कम्युनिटीज़ हैं उनको सम्मान दे करके मुझे लगता है कि शासन की जो एक प्रणाली है उसका भी एक संदेश हम समाज को दे सकते हैं।
alright.
और अच्छा है, बढ़िया।
Okay, Major Shah, we know the yagnas, sometimes the priests like to go on for hours. Okay, fine, rights. This was short and sweet, covered everybody, okay, and everybody got their point across, got their due respect. Has this set a precedent for the future?
See, Rishabh, it's a very, very simple thing that you give respect, you get respect. It's very simple. As a minority, if I respect other communities, they will respect me 100%. But if I feel, oh, I am supreme, I have this arrogance, others will also think, kya aadmi hai ye? It's very simple. So my advice and my message to everyone, to the nation through your channel and through you, is to respect everyone else.
Okay.
And a smile begins
Have we
a
set
smile.
a precedent, Ramesh Raina? This is a good way of doing things, of a good way of representing who we actually are.
Yes, it has instilled a sense of confidence in every religion. And see, as you said some time back, that it is being seen as a Muslim, anti-Muslim government, and this has set a precedence for them. This has instilled a sense of confidence even in Muslims, that when the parliament was inaugurated, it will be written in golden letters in the history of inauguration of the parliament that every religious prayer was offered there, and that is the message.
Yeah, and and so you can, I'll give you an example of the US. I was discussing this on television in a different context. So there was a Bobby Jindal, he became the governor of Louisiana. Bobby Jindal disowned his Indian cultural identity. He wanted to be more American than American, more Christian than Christians. But you see Rishi Sunak has embraced his Indian, his Hindu identity, and has no qualm saying that he is sworn in to protect the people of the United Kingdom and no others. Acharya Funsuk, is this a good precedent, the way it has been done today? Somebody's thought it through very carefully. Short and sweet, well done.
I appreciate, because government have their own responsibilities, and it's one historic for the functions. First and foremost, whatsoever, without the prayer, without the blessing, even the government or the individual's life will be not success smoothly.
Okay.
So therefore, this is very good, I think, significant, nice, I think, intimation, and then the individuals is up to their belief and their faith.
A good prayer is important. If it is a multi-faith prayer and everybody is blessing you, why not? And we've discovered that we deserve all those blessings, both for what we've done and what we seek to achieve. Ladies and gentlemen, as I leave you from Vijay Chowk on this very propitious day, which you will remember forever, you will tell your children on where you were, what you were doing the day the new parliament building was inaugurated. The 60,000 workers who helped build this, they will remember it forever. But as I leave you, I'm going to point you to this tree behind me. I promise you, this is New Delhi. It's 40 degrees plus right now. That's a pine tree with pine cones. Remarkable, no? So guess what? In India, pine trees also grow in the tropics.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.